So, hello, I'm Zach. I'm sure everybody remembers me from last stream.
I'm Derek. Hi, I'm a person.
And so, would you please update us on a subject from last week?
Yeah, absolutely. So last week we reported that Microsoft Edge updates would be separated from Windows Update and would be included just in the browser itself. It looks like that was just a rumor, and there is nothing supporting that rumor. In fact, Microsoft has come out and said that there are no plans to separate Edge updates from Windows updates. Um, and that's really unfortunate because there are a lot of issues with Windows security right now, and Edge needs everything it can get. So to get into that, would you like to go over the zero-day vulnerability found by a Google researcher?
Yes.
Okay. I have the source here. It was by Travis Ormandy, right?
Yes. So,
Okay.
um, Google Security, otherwise known as Project Zero, um, found a vulnerability within Windows they labeled as crazy bad. So yes, the members of the Project Zero team that found it was Tavis or Mandy and Natalie Silvanovich. I'm
Yeah,
praying that was right.
I'm sure. I'm sure you're fine, Zach.
They
I have the screenshot up right now where the Twitter handles are found. So, if anybody would like to get in contact with these people, um, the Twitter handles are right there.
So, all right. They didn't really give a whole lot of information. I looked over all the tweets and I searched back a little bit between them. But the information they gave us is um, the the vulnerability is huge. It's wormable for one thing. Not only is it wormable, but it doesn't have to be on the same local network. And you can like just standard default setting installs are vulnerable. Um, like it's bad. It's really bad. Um, Project Zero has released the information to Microsoft to have it fixed. Has given them a 90-day period before they make the issue public.
And it looks like, according to an update on this article, update from May 8th, Microsoft has released an emergency security patch for the below vulnerability that affects Windows 7, 8.1, RT, and Windows 10 computers, as well as Windows Server 2016. So it looks
Yes.
like they did get on this pretty quickly and handle it.
Um, Looking further back into it, so Project Zero it's Google's way of backhanding other companies. Like if you search Google Project Zero, like if you Google search Google Project Zero, it gives you the definition of what it is. And they are essentially just a Google team that goes over, like they search very popular software such as Windows operating system, Skype, Chrome browser. Like, yeah, it's not limited to outside either. They do all Google um, products as well, but they just search for vulnerabilities. And if they find one, they contact whoever they need to get it fixed. They don't try to be, they're not jerks about it. They just
Yeah, so
yeah,
it
it's
sounds like basically a team of white hat hackers that try to find vulnerabilities in software and then report those vulnerabilities to the developers so they can get fixed in a timely manner.
exactly.
Cool.
Honestly, if anybody was to find problems with software, I would hope that it was Google's Project Zero and not the guy that wants to turn on your webcam.
Yeah, that is a very good point. I would hope it's Google as well.
So just throwing it out there, the security issue that was found was actually a problem inside Windows Defender.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that was the big reason why it was labeled crazy bad.
Yeah, that's not just bad for itself. That's bad for the reputation of Windows Defender. I've been recommending Windows Defender pretty regularly for the last couple of years, so I may have to look
Honestly,
into an alternative.
honestly, I do too. I've always told people that. I was like, Windows Defender is perfectly fine, and if you feel that you absolutely need more, just get a free copy of Malwarebytes.
Yeah, just run a scan every week or so.
Yeah.
Most likely be okay. Okay,
All right.
so moving on. I do want to address the elephant in the room. So there was a huge, absolutely huge ransomware attack that started Friday. It's currently called WannaCrypt, and if you're not familiar with what ransomware is, it's essentially a malicious application that you acquire some way, and once it is triggered on your system, it will begin encrypting your files. Not always all of your files, because that's a lot of work. Normally, it is just certain documents, Excel documents, photos, things that you actually find important. It encrypts those and then seals up the key and says, hey, if you want your files back, you need to pay us money in either Bitcoin or Green Dot or some other kind of untraceable currency. Normally, they don't actually give you the files back if you do pay up.
No, I've never seen ransomware that actually gives them back. They always send you to some other form of ransomware that does the same thing again. They're like, oh, we see you paid blah blah blah, but you forgot to pay us.
Right.
I I think the last big ransomware attack was like the fake FBI one, wasn't it?
The fake FBI has been around for a long time. I was fixing that around 2009 when we were still in high school. Yeah.
Oh geez, I remember. I remember when I was doing some computer repair stuff there. It was geez, 2012, 2013. I mean, that was like the number one thing I was removing off people's computer was that stupid pop up. It was like, you need to pay the FBI.
Hmm. But it's evolved since then. That was scareware. At that time, encryption didn't really have a part of it from like 2009 to 2013 or so, but around 2014, right around when I moved, people were just going crazy with legitimate ransomware. Now this one, it was very large. It unfortunately has affected hundreds of thousands of computers in over 99 countries. And I've heard of some patients in the UK even being locked out of their patient records, and hospitals being completely locked out of medical systems. People have been denied treatment because of this virus.
So just to follow up real quick, some big things you can do right now to protect yourself is one, run Windows Update, being sure you're running the most up-to-date version of Windows possible.
Yes, if you have a Windows computer, I don't care if you're concerned about the privacy aspect of Cortana or anything like that. You need to install your Windows updates because you may not have a computer. How this thing works is once the payload is initiated, it blue screens, and then when you restart the computer, you have no access to your files.
And it is not limited to just a PC. If you have external hard drives or flash drives that are plugged in, or even let's say a network attached storage device, a NAS, it will hit them all.
It shouldn't hit the NAS because it only affects Windows PCs. So most
watch the WAN show, sir.
Okay, NAS run different operating systems like what is the name of that actual operating system?
Well, if you're running Windows Server, it will hit.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean though. Like it only affects Windows machines. So if you're running a version of Linux on your NAS, then that NAS is fine. But if you have a file system that's inside of Windows, it's not fine.
It's not fine at all. No.
Right.
Sorry, I should have been more clear. But yes, it will. It can. It's a worm. It will spread over the network. It will hit every Windows operated PC, whether that be a file server, some sort of PC management software, anything. it'll get it.
Okay, so that is if your updates are not caught up to date. So they actually released, this is built around a vulnerability found in NSA leaked tools. Some tools manufactured by the NSA were leaked a few months ago, and Microsoft actually released a patch following those tool leaks in March. If you have Windows updates since March, you are perfectly fine. You are already patched. However, if you don't maintain Windows very regularly, you need to get on it. And luckily, there has been an update to this. I have an article here that I will show. So from the site Malware Tech, this individual posted an article stating how to accidentally stop a global cyber attack. So he says accidentally, but there's really nothing accidental about this. So basically what happened was, in this payload, there is a hard-coded URL that the worm actually checks for. If it sees that the URL is online, it does not deliver its payload, and it is basically null and void. If it finds that the website is offline, it will deliver its payload and encrypt your files. Well, luckily, this individual, Malware Tech, and some other researchers had been buying up bulk domain names that had been linked with cryptographic activity. Luckily, one of these domain names was actually registered, and he bought it up. He noticed that once he activated the website, he started getting queries to it right around here, just after it went live, and by a series of events, he has mostly stopped WannaCrypt just by activating the domain name and putting something there. Here are a few screenshots of the actual code. So if I open this, so yeah, right there. Sinkhole domain is where the domain is in the code. So it checks for that, and if it sees that it's offline, it continues. And if it sees that it is, yeah, right there. So if request fails, execute payload, that's just a comment. That is where it's done. Otherwise, it quits the application, and there's no issue at that point. But that is no excuse not to update your machines. Go ahead and update your machines. Windows XP, Windows 8. Microsoft has released a new patch today for this, so just make sure you're completely up to date, please.
We want to see you next week.
Yeah. It would be good if you had a computer to view us on. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the elephant. Would you like me to take the next one too, the HP shenanigans?
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk about it a little bit as well.
Go for it.
So,
Go for it. I'll pull up the source right here.
All right. I'm going to laugh because this is hilarious. All right. HP accidentally essentially gave you malware. Like, HP accidentally kept a keylogger in an audio driver update. Take it over.
Yeah, so here's the list of the affected machines. I'll just go over these. If you have any of these computers, sorry about that. If you have any of these computers, there's a patch available for you too. So what happened was HP shipped out an audio driver just for their, plugging in headphones, transferring audio signals throughout your computer properly. And there was like a key on the keyboard that you could press, and it would activate certain functions like mute, volume up, volume down. And their driver had a bit of software in it that listened for a particular keystroke. So if you held FN, volume up, your volume would go up. It would always stay running listening for that keystroke. And it would log the keystrokes in a file. Unfortunately, it always worked. So every single one of your keystrokes was recorded in that file.
All of them.
All of them. Now, luckily, you're fine, most likely. you're most likely fine because these log files are cleared whenever a user logs out of their computer. But just the fact that such an oversight would be made by the development team at such a large company, it kind of boggles my mind. Who would let that code ship? Who would let that into the public?
All right, so just to throw this out there, like, the reason I laugh is because it was an accident.
Yeah, it was nothing malicious.
Exactly. It was just plain stupid. It was a stupid accident. I'm sure somebody just got put on administrative leave for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
And I'm not going to say I haven't done anything like this before. I've definitely used log files to my advantage when writing some local code, but never give that to the public. Knowing it was there, you would know, right? You know that vulnerability is there.
The only thing I can think of is, like, you got to think, we're talking large teams. We're not talking specific individuals writing all this code. We're talking a team, and
Okay.
probably a team that's on different shifts. So more than likely, my assumption would be is that, like, it was put in, and somebody was, on the tracking file. They more than likely have a centralized document for the team where everybody marks what changes they've made. In case something goes wrong, it can be reversed by a different individual, or if somebody's like, "Oh, we need to do this," they can look and see if it was already done.
Yeah, just really quick. Yeah, normally development teams use something like GitHub or Visual Studio Team Services for that kind of thing. So
Exactly.
not only is it just like a list of things you typed in, you can manually go in and see the changes, all the code changes that have been done. Continue.
So my guess is somebody probably said that they removed it, or never said that they put it in there when they wrote the software that was looking for it. Or that's the only way I can really assume it. But the logs were deleted as soon as you logged out of Windows. So
That is
every
true.
time you logged off your PC or shut it down, it deleted the file. So it wasn't like it's being stored somewhere on your hard drive for anybody to see that managed to get there.
Well, I mean, if somebody did want to be malicious, you could just look at this file, uh, C Windows System 32 Mic Tray 64exe. You could probably go into go into there if the log file exists. Then you could write even a program to extract the log file and email it to yourself. So, I mean, if you have this machine, please do the update.
Get it fixed.
HP is committed to the security of its customers, and we are aware of an issue on select HP PCs. We have identified a fix and will make it available to our customers. Basically, just camp out on the HP driver page and see if there's an update for you.
All right. So let's get away from security hardships. I'm done with this. Let's see
Okay.
here.
You want to go to gaming?
Yeah, let's go into gaming.
Okay. Take it from there.
All right. PC game streaming to the Nintendo Switch may be coming. May be.
And this is just from a tweet?
This is from a tweet. All right. So there is an app called Rainway. What Rainway is it is an app that can be installed on supporting devices, such as higher end tablets and some of your, high end hardware smartphones and whatnot. And what it allows you to do is, like, if you have a game installed on your PC, right?
Okay.
And you're leaving the house. Like, my PC is made out of glass and is filled with water. I really don't want to have to, like, put this PC in my car and go places. You know what I mean?
Of course not.
So what Rainway allows you to do is connect to your PC via the app and stream your video game that you would want to play on your PC to your handheld device.
That's
So
pretty cool.
Rainway made a tweet that they have been in contact with Nintendo and they're hoping for good results. What this would mean is that the Nintendo Switch might might get the Rainway app, so you could use your Nintendo Switch to stream your PC game titles while you're on the go or anywhere where there's data. You know what I mean? Like that'd be freaking sweet.
So I have a couple of questions here. I mean, that sounds really, really cool. And I did look at Rainway earlier today, while I was going through the sources for this, and I couldn't actually find any downloads or betas or even where to sign up for a beta for this application. I'd love to try it out. I have a pretty high-end smartphone, so I like to play Grand Theft Auto on my OnePlus. That'd be cool.
Honestly, I saw the story. I went over it. I checked the legitimacy of some of the background stuff. I never looked for the download though. Here's my 2002 phone. Like,
Right, I get that. I just think it'd be really cool. My other question, excuse me, or concern would be how do the controls work? Because they would have to map controls to so many different layouts. They'd have to do it for the Switch. They'd have to do virtual controls for phones, tablets, and like the Nvidia Shield. I guess would be pretty simple. Um, but everything else, like
say
no buttons.
Nintendo Switch. I can see the Switch being very easy because it's already a handheld controller.
Right.
You know, as long as you had your your Joy-Con, maneuvers. I don't even know what.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, as long as you had those on the Switch, it would essentially just be your screen, and the controller would be on the sides of the screen, kind of like the PSP or a DS or whatever.
Right.
So
I guess my real concern is with the virtual controls because I'm not a fan of, the little ads, that are put into games for mobile. I never feel like I can control a game very well with those.
I fully agree. I 100% fully agree. Um, yeah. Would you like to move on?
Yeah, sure. I'm not too familiar with the Alan Wake trilogy, but it does look like uh, Alan Wake will be leaving all digital stores on Monday, May 15th, 2017. The owner of the game,
That's this Monday. Like,
yeah, that is this coming Monday. You had mentioned that this is basically because they don't want to renew the music licenses, right?
correct. Yes. The source file there has like, it's a tweet from Remedy Entertainment. It's just stating that, hey, the music license is up on Monday, and we don't want to pay to renew it because it would require renegotiating, the terms and how long and what. They just don't want to do it.
Right.
And apparently, there's enough music in the game that it's too much of a hassle to try to put a team on to recode the music out of the game.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the developer because they're not making a whole lot of money anymore. It is fortunate for gamers because it does look like it's on a 90% discount.
On
Um,
Steam.
on Steam, yeah, yeah, I added it to my cart. I think the entire franchise for Alan Wake is $4, like $3.99 or $4.99.
I believe that included the DLC as well.
It did.
So like $4, and like I personally beat Alan Wake and Alan Wake American Nightmare, and they are two very, very fantastic games.
Excellent.
Just to finish this off, this is all online stores. So it's
Not just Steam.
We're talking Steam, the Xbox store, the PlayStation store, like all online stores that are carrying Alan Wake, other than maybe your resale services like Kingwin. It's disappearing. It will no longer be available Monday.
Okay. Well, that's a good note to anybody. If you have a preferred online retailer, go for it. We know the pricing for Steam, but if you'd rather go to Kingwin or G2G or is G2G still a thing?
I don't.
Didn't they get in trouble from that CS:GO stuff?
I think they did, but I don't think it shut
Regardless.
them down. I think it just stopped them. I don't know.
Okay. Regardless, go on Steam or your preferred platform of choice. Get the game. It's cheap. Support them a little bit. Maybe they'll be able to renew their music licenses for the next game.
Yeah, the Sons of Guns. It's just sad because it really is such a great game, but at the same time, it's been out for quite a while.
Oh yeah, I'd never played this game. I wasn't. I think I recognized the name, but I don't recognize anything about the game or what the premise is or anything.
So I can give a small bit of premise to it. Like the game is following an author. Alan Wake is the author, and essentially he's like living through his book of like his wife passing away and demons or like shadow spirits coming, or they're trying to draw him into the darkness as he's trying to get over his wife passing.
See.
And essentially, yeah, it's him trying to fight his. You're literally fighting your way back out of the darkness it is to lose somebody else.
That's interesting. That's a really creative way to tell a story.
They're fun, and you get a gun, you get to shoot people.
And you get a gun and you get to shoot people. Okay.
Well,
That's all games are nowadays. Yeah, right. Okay, we still have another story for gaming. Something about Electronic Arts.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. EA. Those sons of guns. They have earned 1.68 billion US dollars in microtransactions this year so far.
That is a whole lot of money.
So I guess some of the big things to take away from that are everybody that's like, well, EA will eventually listen to everybody and they'll get rid of microtransactions. You're wrong. You will always be wrong. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to at this point. They've already cashed in 1.68 billion dollars.
Yeah. And like I said, that's 2017, so a little past Q1. Like
that's insane. I did pull up the source. I'm trying to find that figure in here.
It was deep.
It's deep? Okay.
It's deep.
Let's see.
We could share the link to that if anybody would like it.
Yeah, where do you want to share it?
Just send it out in the comments. We could send it over to our lovely admin if they would be so kind.
Okay. It's sent out in the private chat.
Awesome. So I'm just going to assume that it's going to make it there, and we can remedy that later if it does not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see that exact figure here, but it is a PDF document. If you're really interested in it, then you can dig through at your leisure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
All right. We're free to move on. That was it. Like EA makes lots of money by screwing people over by giving them half the game to begin with. So that story's over.
All right. So next, that's all. That's it for gaming, right? I don't have anything else.
We're out of gaming. We're moving to aerospace.
Aerospace and vehicular technology.
Boom.
If it moves, it's here. So I can cover the first one if you cover the second two. I'm sorry, the second and the third, because I'd like to cover all of the information about build if possible.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Let's go ahead.
Okay, so it looks like the X-37B Orbital Test Vehicle 4. That's the name of this whole project. It's some top secret military project. It's a unmanned reusable spaceplane. So it landed back on May 7th. It was conducting orbit experiments that lasted about 2 years, 718 days. So this thing is, let me pull up the source here very quickly. And a moment.
It takes a minute to load. We're talking government servers here.
There we go. It's on dvidshub.net. Do they have an image of it? Of course they don't. Well, that's fine. So it was conducting orbital experiments. It's the military's newest and most advanced re-entry spacecraft. It basically looks like the space shuttle. Yeah, if you want to take it from there, Zach, I'll actually pull up an image of it really quickly.
It essentially looks like a space shuttle without the windshield. Like, um, so let's see here. Uh, Essentially, it's the X-37B.
Here it is.
It landed on the 7th. Where did it land? Kennedy Space Center. But what's really cool about it is a reusable unmanned space shuttle. So
Right. So similar to the space shuttle.
Yeah, so as soon as it lands, they can give it its minor maintenance and send it right back out into the field from the same location. It doesn't have to get moved to some sort of repair facility anywhere. It can be maintained right there at the
at the launch center.
Thank you.
Yeah, the spaceport. Basically spaceports. I mean, we're going to call them that soon enough anyway, instead of airport. So, yeah, that's really cool because it's able to land, repair, and launch again. Because didn't I think the space shuttle actually had to be sent off to a repair center to make sure that there were no issues. It had to be refueled at a separate center because they didn't have the amenities at the airport that they launched from. So yeah, that's absolutely right. Being able to do all of that from one location will greatly reduce the amount of time that you have to take to maintain it and then send it back up. You can just do it all right there and send it right back out.
Honestly, just breaking this down, previously working in the aerospace industry, we're talking once the shuttle lands, it could take, as long as there were no problems, that they found zero issues with the hardware and the exoskeleton. They could land it, fuel it, and have it back out within maybe 2 hours, 3 hours tops.
That's insane.
They do plan to launch the X-37B back into space for more testing later this year.
Cool. I know this time they probably want to take some data from it. It has an equivalent of a black box, I assume, so they want to gather all the data they can just to make sure that they got everything they wanted, and they want to make sure that the machine itself is just fine. But yeah, in the future, a couple hours, that seems realistic and kind of incredible.
It's super BA.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll move on to the next story here.
Okay.
SpaceX.
I do have a video for this one too.
Everybody loves SpaceX. There's no audio to the video, so I'll keep talking while you play the video.
Load it up now.
All right. So SpaceX first Falcon Heavy static fire test. So for people that do not follow SpaceX very closely, everything that deals with SpaceX up until this point has been the Falcon 9.
That's right.
So the Falcon Heavy is to replace that. It's going to be a much more powerful propulsion system that will allow SpaceX to go further using less resources.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, all of the Mars missions that Elon Musk has mentioned, they make use of the Falcon Heavy.
They do. There will be no changes to the current designs of SpaceX, other than the swapping of the cores. The Falcon Heavy will still allow the rocket to, take off and land. Blah blah blah. All the really cool stuff that SpaceX has so far. The video was the firing of one core. That was one core, the middle core.
I'll play that video again too.
That's a lot of smoke, that's a lot of flames, and that's a lot of badassery right there.
So how many cores are in this?
There's not a whole lot of information divulged on Heavy.
Sure.
But from what I found, it's going to be 5.
Yeah, because there would be the center core and then 4 around that.
So from the way that it seems is that yeah, essentially there's going to be your 4 outer cores, which are going to be used for like gravity dispersing and stuff like that.
Stabilization too.
Um, the main core is going to be to break, you know, the rockets want to stay on the ground. It's going to be what gives it the propulsion to go to space, and it's also going to be the final fire that happens as the rocket's landing again to make sure that it has a safe landing and doesn't crash into the ground at 400 knots.
So essentially for the layman, the center core is the gas and the brake pedal, and
Yes.
the 4 around it are the steering wheel.
That is true. So this test was taking place at the McGregor, Texas testing facility, and it was a successful test. Just a little bit of other cool news about the Falcon Heavy is that this has actually been in production since 2004.
Really?
It was first announced that they were building the Falcon Heavy in 2004. In early 2005, they did a press release stating that some licensing issues had put the Falcon Heavy on hold. And
Licensing issues, like patents, probably.
yeah, essentially NASA was like, "Oh, those are ours," and yeah, it took them quite a while to tell NASA, like, "No, they're not."
Right.
But either way, it looks like they've got everything settled. It only took 13 years.
13 years. Yeah, but that's one thing I really like about Tesla, SpaceX, even Solar City, which is now Tesla. They just release their patents out to the open and say, "Hey guys, if you want to build cool stuff, here you go. Here are the plans."
Yeah. Build something cool. If you blow anything up, it's not our fault, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess just to finish this section off
Yeah, go ahead.
on the vehicle stuff is South Korea is opening the world's largest self-driving car test bed. And for people that don't understand what that is, so it's essentially going to be it's going to be a city that has no one there.
Yeah, it's just built for self-driving cars, right?
Exactly. The name is going to be K City. It's based off of America's M City, which is based in Michigan. It is it's a habitable city, essentially. It's not built to actually hold anybody. It's just for companies. Like the one in the U.S. is currently being used by Ford. They're testing self-driving cars there, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. So companies such as SK Telecom, Naver, Samsung, and automakers like Hyundai and Kia they'll go to this location and they can just throw their self-driving cars out onto the roads. It'll have man, it's so cool. I get so excited talking about this. So this whole city is going to have like freeways, underpasses, parking lots, like everything you would expect in an actual occupied busy city. And these cars are just going to have to figure it the hell out, you know?
Yeah. So is it all controlled by AI then?
Yes.
Do they just give it basic AI programming and say, "Hey, don't wreck"?
That's essentially what I'm gathering. It might vary from company to company, such as like Hyundai versus Kia, because they're both automotive companies that will be using this place. So
yeah, and I'm sure they have their own plans for their own systems.
Yeah, the city will cover 360,000 square meters. That's big.
Yeah, it is pretty big.
It is currently under construction, and it is expected to be finished before the end of this year and operational, like open to these individuals that want to test on it by the first half of 2018.
Cool. That's not very far away at all.
No, not at all. And it
costs
about a year roughly. It cost the Korean government 11 billion won, which is about 9,791,000 USD. Their currency is not worth as much as ours, unfortunately.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
regardless, that's a lot of freaking money.
It's really cool that it's going to be open so soon. I didn't expect, something with that kind of infrastructure to be available like next year.
Yeah, like
2018 is next year.
I'm excited to keep hearing about this.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the advancements in self-driving cars. It kind of worries me a little bit because so many people are going to be put out of jobs. But progress is progress, and I like technology, so I want to see where it goes.
Is this going to get rid of our driver movies with Jason Statham?
I hope so.
like is like the next one that's going to release, like the dude's going to jump in the car and be like, "Let's go," and like iRobot's going to turn around.
Yeah, it's just it would just be iRobot at that point, right? Okay. We shouldn't have any more autofocus issues. I'm going to keep my face in the same place. Right here.
All right, let's move on, buddy.
Yeah, so that's all we had for technology and aerospace. So, Build 2017 was this week. Build 2017 is a developer conference hosted by Microsoft. They talk about a whole lot of things during this conference. Everything from, programming porn, which is basically, it's the term I made up just now, but, anything a software developer would want to see from Microsoft, including, see, I have a list here. Azure Cloud Shell, that's cool. So basically what that is, I'll explain both. First, Azure is Microsoft's hosted data center system. So if you want to write a program or write a web application, instead of running it on devices like phones or computers or laptops or anything like that, you can actually run it in Azure and have that run in a browser. So it's extremely scalable. buzzword for developers. It's good stuff. Cloud Shell basically means you have Bash running in Azure. Bash is a Linux subsystem. So to simplify this even more, you can open a Linux command prompt inside of a web browser that is linked to a Windows server running commands. To me, that is just wicked cool because, it's only been about a year or two since we got Linux on Windows, which is still kind of blowing my mind a little bit. But now you can do it through a web browser and remotely. You can SSH into a Windows server. You can do so much.
Didn't we kind of always have Linux on Windows?
Yeah, if you want to dual boot.
Well, I'm talking like the fact that Windows is built off the Unix, core.
But it's not. That's OS 10.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. OS 10 is built on a Unix core. I think technically it's BSD. I think. But yeah, Windows is all proprietary. Yeah. Now the podcast name definitely would make sense. Jargon is what we do. So that was just one thing. Along the lines of developers, Visual Studio for Mac was announced, general availability. That means it's finished. You can go download it. Visual Studio is Microsoft's software development platform. It's a little program that makes you make programs. It's real cool. I use it a lot. But now it's available for Mac.
It's really cool. And like the availability for Mac is really cool too. Like if it was me, I would install Visual Studio just so I knew I had really awesome Microsoft software on my Mac when I threw it out of a window in front of moving vehicles.
You're putting people in danger. That's not nice.
It was worth it to destroy the Mac.
Okay.
No.
That's fair enough.
It's really cool to know that Visual Studio is actually going to Mac, and it's going to give that development environment to a much, to an even amount of people than it had previously.
Yeah, and previously you could always install Windows on your Mac and run Visual Studio in Windows, or use Visual Studio Code, which was just a command line editor that did the same thing, kind of. But now with Visual Studio, legitimate Visual Studio on Mac, you can build iOS applications, you can build Windows applications, you can build Android applications, all in one environment, and it just makes it so simple to actually build an app and submit it and be done in one kind of interface.
So just throwing this out there, like Visual Studio has so many different possibilities to it. It can mean so many different things to different individuals. Um, like I use it as well, but I don't code anything. Like that's not me. I've always been a huge hardware person. I leave software to somebody else that has the time and energy to do that. Derek.
So what do you use Visual Studio for?
I always use it for its really badass debugging abilities.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having trouble with an app, a Windows app, or just anything I have installed on Windows, and it's just giving me trouble, I love opening it in Visual Studio's debug mode to figure it out, like because it's good at it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it does. One of the two things it does. I mean, you build programs in it and you debug programs in it. That's pretty much all Visual Studio was ever meant to do. So yeah, being able to just debug other people's applications in it is wonderful, especially if they're open source and not obfuscated.
See, that's the big thing too. Is like a lot of people don't understand how easy it is sometimes to fix their own crap. Like, and I say crap because I just mean crap. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's got so much different stuff that they love to use, and not all like it doesn't all always work when you want it to. And instead of taking it to your local repair guy and getting ripped off at $75 an hour, like you can install Visual Studios, which is free, or Visual Studio, which is free. Like there are free versions,
Community, yeah.
and you can debug your own software. Like that's just like I had some constant blue screening going on with Windows 10. It's not related to Visual Studio, but it's just a simple fix. Like most people would take that to the repair guy. I realized what the issue was. It was a startup file. It was a oh shoot! It was a registry file that was set to start with integer 2 instead of integer 4. It was turning
Gotcha.
on before other parts were, and it wasn't supposed to. It was in the wrong sequence.
And you're able to remotely debug that, or I'm sorry, just debug that with Visual Studio and fix
Yeah.
the issue?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because it was related to GeForce Experience.
Okay.
So it was just like, hey, this isn't working right. And I opened regedit and I changed 2 to 4. I saved it and I've been running great since.
Perfect. So that was just one of the announcements that came out of Build. I mean, I've only covered, what, 2 now? Yeah, so
Sorry, I kind of like interjected there. I love
you're
Visual
fine.
Studio.
It's wonderful. So Visual Studio for Mac is available to the general public. We also have a PowerPoint translator add-in, which there is a video for, but I don't have it available right now. Basically, live translation with multiple languages and a PowerPoint add-in. So you can have one person presenting a PowerPoint presentation in English, for example, and you can have someone with the Microsoft Translator app on their phone, and they can see in Chinese what you're speaking in English live. And you can have people on laptops or other devices in Spanish. I believe it was 28 languages available currently, and it's really coming together. That's one cool thing.
So like you're stating that like, as I do something in English, it is being instantly translated and output to language of choice.
Yes. It can speak it and type it. So
I freaking love technology.
yeah. So everything you say right now could be translated in Spanish or Chinese. That feature has been in Skype actually for a little while, but bringing it to PowerPoint is just wonderful for businesses that are multilingual and they need to get they need to communicate very clearly, very quickly. So the Microsoft Translator add-in for PowerPoint is enabling that, and I think it's going to do great things once they bring that tech to other software.
So what's the accuracy rate?
I don't have any data on that. They just showed it off.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what the accuracy rate is, and
Mhm.
I'd also be curious to see like how big of a vocabulary it can handle. Like,
Well,
because
it
like
looked like it was fully supported in 28 languages, so
that's awesome. Like,
should be fun with that.
I'm saying like English is a really big language, and Chinese is a really big language,
Chinese is
and
a very big language, yeah.
and both languages have words that have no translation to the other. So I'm just curious how it manages that sort of stuff.
Time will tell. I'm sure we'll see pretty soon.
I should have taken a secondary in school.
So we have a few more things. Another cool demo shown. Actually, two cool demos. I'll go through them very quickly here. One was AI for workplace safety. So it was an application running inside of Azure that I mentioned previously, that basically was able to, using a webcam and Azure, monitor an entire workplace and see if things were out of place. So if you had a, say, Zach, you were a visitor to a work site, to a
Yeah.
construction place, and or it was your first day and you weren't quite certified to operate a certain power tool yet, right? So you walk in the place, it recognizes you using the camera. It says, "Hey, this is a new hire. Here are their certifications." It sees you pick up the power tool, and it will send off alerts and alert other people in the area that you're not permitted to use that tool. It can live recognize objects and individuals in a worksite, which is really cool. And of course, you can set rules. You can
It's also
set.
scary.
It is scary. It's scary if it goes wrong.
It it's actually leading me into another thing I'd like to talk about after you finish this, but it is related to very similar stuff.
Okay, I mean, if it's, you can go ahead with it.
So I don't have any notes here. I just heard about it yesterday, but what I can really say is that in the UK they're planning to use AI to essentially help police know if it's worth it or not to let a criminal go.
Hmm.
And it's going to go very in depth, and it essentially it learns by itself and then stereotypes people within a it was like an 80 to 90% accuracy range. And it was super scary to learn about.
Sounds like
Um,
Minority Report precognition tech or something.
it sounds like goddamn Skynet is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. Pretty close. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that stuff with automatic recognition of people and precognition of crimes. I'm sure that'll be a thing in the next few years. Considering how crazy good AI is getting right now. So speaking of AI, real quick, the next topic: conversational AI in VR games. So Microsoft showed off a demo. There is a video again. I don't have it available. Sorry about that. Um, where you can just speak to an AI built into a video game in VR, and it'll handle everything for you. So all of the input is your voice. You don't really have controls. You have a VR headset on, and you're able to communicate with the game and say like open door or talk to say Cortana, right? If it were Halo, you could speak with Cortana and actually play the game that way.
So it's Sal.
I don't recognize that.
Okay, so nerding out here a little bit. That's an anime reference. Sal stands for Sword Art Online,
Oh,
and
I see.
the whole premise of that of that story was you put on like a VR helmet, and it kind of put you in a half asleep, kind of coma like state, and you like full body implemented yourself into your virtual reality world, and
Sure.
you control everything with just your mind and voice.
Yeah, I mean, aside from a brain computer interface, yes, this is that. So that was demoed at Microsoft Build 2017, and I'll just fly through the rest of those. Um, so Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, and Fedora are coming to the Windows Store, meaning if you open the Windows Store and you search for Ubuntu, you'll see it, and if you click install, you'll have Ubuntu built into Windows.
That's awesome.
It is really cool. Now that is technically enabled. I'll see it. I think I have it enabled on my computer right now, actually. So bear with me. I will talk as I pull it up. So you have to go into Windows settings and then go into the for developers and enable developer mode. Once you do that, you can install the Linux subsystem for Windows, which is what allows you to do Bash that I mentioned previously when I was talking about Azure. You can run Linux commands inside of Windows. So some people don't like Ubuntu, which is currently what is available in that Linux subsystem. Some people prefer OpenSUSE, and some people prefer Fedora.
And some people are wrong.
Well, they are what they are. However, all three of those will be available in the Windows Store coming soon. And an unexpected thing coming to Windows Store is iTunes.
How dare they blaspheme? No, that's actually really cool.
I think that has a lot to do with Windows 10s, since x86 and x64 applications that are not signed by the Windows Store won't work. iTunes is an extremely popular program. So
especially with college dweebs.
Exactly. So it just makes sense for Apple to bring it to the Windows Store. So the last non-Windows directly related thing announced at Microsoft Build 2017 was, again, kind of like VR, Acer announced that they're releasing a mixed reality headset. So kind of like Windows HoloLens. I'm sure you've seen that, or if you haven't, look it up. It takes 5 seconds.
Awesome.
Yeah, in my opinion, HoloLens is the best approach you can have toward VR because you can see the real world around you, or you can see only VR. So the cool thing about that is Acer's launching a headset with controllers for $399 this holiday season. That's a good price. That is extremely cheap because currently, the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive are $500 and $800.
Yeah, like holy.
And this comes with controllers. Now, to be fair, it doesn't run by itself. Now, HoloLens is it's a computer in the headset. This is just a headset. There's no computer built into it. However, I know from previous sources that the system requirements for mixed reality are quite low. So most decent computers nowadays shouldn't have any issues running mixed reality.
You can run straight up. You can run full VR off of a PC with an RX, 460 or 560, and a Core i5 or like a Ryzen 5, which
it's about $700.
Yeah, I was gonna say, put that in perspective. That's a $700 $800 computer,
right?
And that's only if you buy the pretty parts.
Yeah, if you buy generic RAM and don't get an SSD, you can build that PC for a lot less.
I guarantee I could assemble somebody a VR system for $500.
Be very possible, especially with the, like you said, the RX4 and 560.
Yeah, or even the what is it, the 1050 Ti from NVIDIA.
Yeah, even the 1050 Ti is VR ready.
Yeah, and that's $130. If you wanted to get like a really badass EVGA one with like super duper cooling, they're like $150, $560.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, they're cheap. They game, they VR. If you got a processor that didn't support overclocking, or went on the AMD side, got a board that didn't support overclocking, you're saving tons of money in that department. Just run it stock, run it till it's dead, VR all day.
And yeah, I mean, with this, you could do that for under $1,000.
Yeah.
So that is excellent. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to run through the Windows 10 information.
Take it.
Okay, so we knew Redstone 3 was coming out. That is a new version of Windows. The current Windows 10 Creators Update, which I'm sure we're all running. If not, do it.
Yeah, before
Do
you
it
get
now.
burned.
Do it now. Update, please. For the love of everything that's good in this world.
Don't
Update.
get encrypted.
Update your stinking computers, people. So that's Redstone 2.
I was trying to figure out how to Shia LaBeouf that.
The next version of Windows will be called Redstone 3. That was the code name. The official name is Fall Creators Update. Super creative there. Microsoft, good job. It is coming in September-ish. Okay. Now, so I was really fond of the interface in Windows 7 and Windows Vista. It was called Arrow Glass. For those of you too young to remember Windows 7 and Windows Vista, go do something else. Go eat some Cheerios or something, kids. So basically, it was a really clean, kind of glassy user interface built on Windows. I was a huge fan of it. A lot of people weren't, mainly because their computers couldn't run it, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, most of us that could run it really enjoyed it. There is a new version of that kind of called Project Neon. That was the code name. The official name is Fluent Design System. That will be coming with the Fall Creators Update. It enables kind of like translucency in Windows, and it's being described as an evolution of the current design the Windows is using. It aims to improve the look and feel of Windows and to help users find their way around apps more quickly and naturally. And I do have a video that I will play here. All right, so that's the trailer. I thought it was a little longer than that. Luckily, it wasn't, because that would have been kind of boring. But basically, you get the point. Those were just a bunch of design concepts thrown into a real quick video that they made and released. So you should see a lot of new, cool stuff from Windows in the future. And one more little announcement that I saw from Build was that the ARM version, so the version that can potentially run on smartphones of Windows 10, will be able to run traditional desktop apps. That is crazy. There is
holy crap.
They're just going to emulate x86, and you can run Photoshop on your phone. Not this crappy Photoshop clip that I have. No. Whole desktop Photoshop on your phone.
Well, see, that's the thing. I've actually been wondering, where the hell that was. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, this phone has a Snapdragon 821. That is a crazy processor.
It is.
And the Snapdragon 835 and the Galaxy S8, these new processors from using the ARM platform, they can do a lot of stuff. And in most cases, the phone in my hand is probably faster than most people's computers. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Just throw that out there that most people's computers are potatoes.
That is fair. But still. Still.
No, I don't want to take any credit away from the Snapdragon processors. They are beasts. Like, and we're talking some ultra low power draw. Like, it's running off a battery, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's where they shine. They can do a lot of compute. They can do a lot of compute on a little bit of energy, and I think it's really cool that Microsoft is able to emulate x86 and bring full desktop applications over to ARM. And I can't wait to see where that goes.
Neither can I. We will update more on that as it comes out. Do you want to cover the first topic under cool tech?
You can cover the Tesla. Give me a break for a second.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Tesla V100.
Really quick, this is not Tesla as in Tesla Motors. This is Tesla as in NVIDIA Tesla.
As in, like, NVIDIA's most badass of the badassery. This is what NVIDIA does.
Yes.
So, anybody that knows about Tesla is probably pretty aware with the P100, which was the Pascal 100 series GPU, which is used for deep learning. Like, if you're thinking of buying one of these to play video games, first of all, they would look glorious. Second of all, good luck at $4,000 a piece.
Would they look glorious, though? Because games aren't going to be able to take advantage of this kind of architecture.
Shut your face.
And my face is shut. Nobody can see my shut face.
No, like, honestly, it is way too much power for that sort of thing. People that say stuff like that generally are the ones that just came from console.
Right. Burn.
So the Tesla V100 is going to be based off of NVIDIA's new GPU, the Volta GPU. It will be running 16 gigabytes of HBM2 at 900 GB per second. Like, oh yeah, and that's across a 4096-bit memory bus. Like, that is an insane amount of just
It really is, especially 300 watt. So a 4096-bit memory interface. Technically, isn't that just a 4 kilobit memory interface? I digress. The AMD RX, what is it? I'm sorry, the AMD R9 390. Wasn't that like 512-bit?
across GDDR.
Yeah, so not even HBM, right? So
The Fury X ran at 4096.
oh, I see. Under HBM?
Yes.
Okay.
HBM1, not HBM2.
Right. That's crazy.
And what's awesome, though, about this is, first of all, 5,120 CUDA cores. Yeah. On a 12 nanometer node.
Yeah, let me pull the specs up there. Yeah, 12 nanometer. Wow, that's super, super tiny.
This is all going to be operated off of a 300 watt TDP. And if that's on the dual slot card, and if you get the single slot card, it's going to have slightly less specs, but you're only going to draw a 150 watt TDP. It's going to take a single slot. Like,
yeah, let me pull up that second source.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, single slot's 150 watt and dual slot is 300 watt. And that's amazing that they can do so much in such little power. Just harkening back to the ARM conversation.
Let's throw this out there, all right? It's not shocking. It's really not. NVIDIA CEO and founder Jensen stated that they put over $3 billion worth of R&D, research and development, into the Volta GPU.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of money.
But what that means, though, like what they brought out of it, is it is actually 50% more power efficient than Pascal. And it is producing 12 times the amount of teraflops that Pascal could produce in the P100.
That's gonna do a whole lot for applications such as like deep learning, like you mentioned. Search for extraterrestrial life is a cool one. Folding proteins for cancer research. That's going to be affected very heavily by this. AI advancement, is going to be hit real hard.
Like this right here just gives me it just gives me a nerdgasm so hard. Like I love this right here. Like I'm a huge AMD fanboy. Like I'm sure we stated that in the last stream. And
He
as
is.
time goes on, people will learn this. I am a monster AMD fan. But at the same time, I love technology, and this is what I love to see. Like this is a powerhouse breakthrough.
So it looks like the Tesla V100 system, it costs $150,000.
Oh,
if I'm reading that correctly.
I was off by 0 earlier.
That is a lot of money. But then again, I mean, if you're using this in like supercompute farms, then imagine using this for Bitcoin mining. Just get just get $1 million, right? Build a farm, a little compute farm, and mine Bitcoins. And I'm not going to throw numbers out there, but you might be okay. You might actually be okay.
Don't give anybody any ideas. There are people out there going out to try. Like
I legitimately hope nobody watching this is going to spend $1 million on NVIDIA GPUs. If you do, can I have a couple? Just GeForce.
One.
Yeah.
One for the idea. Yeah. And
yeah.
Have the GeForce.
Can we have a finder's fee? A little bit.
Like I just one Titan XP, please. I just want to say, in my lifetime, I cuddled my own Titan.
Can you please film that? I don't mean to be weird, but we need to put that on the internet for someone else to see.
I would.
Thanks. All right, so we have one more news story left. I'll go ahead and cover it. It's just this weird thing I saw on Reddit a little while ago. Basically, I'll pull up the video here because that's all I have. It's just one video. Close all my other Chrome tabs so the stream doesn't lag too much. So this little, this bit of tech basically allows you to turn anything into a touch-sensitive surface. So not a touch screen per se, but you can turn your pen into a surface that responds to touch. I'll just play a little bit of this video. See what you guys think.
Another example material is carbon-loaded ABS. Capabilities. For this, we use carbon conductive paint, primarily used for electrostatic discharge and RF shielding purposes. This can be easily sprayed or painted onto almost any surface, flat or irregular.
Okay, so it looks like when I muted our audio, I also muted the audio for the video. I apologize for that, but you can see here that you can literally paint this stuff onto anything. Like this guitar demo I think is really wonderful, which I'll play with the audio. You can paint the guitar with the touch responsive coating, apply electrodes to it, and you can put a drum kit on your guitar. So I'll play this.
In this demo, a user can add custom controls to the guitar body using a companion laptop application. We use a similar fabrication process on this steering.
I think that's so cool. Yeah, the rest of the video just shows what else you can do with it. Like here, they painted the tabletop surface, and then they just cut out little stickers and trained that area of the tabletop to be a shortcut for Chrome. So by doing that, they have a literal desktop icon. You can click the icon on your desk up, and then open the application.
That would be so awesome. You're just like you just poke your desk and it does stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean there are so many other things you can do with it. So many things. I guess the real key at that point is to get it get a wireless, number one. You know those little NFC tags you can buy from Amazon? You just like stick it on your Coke bottle or something, and you can tap it against your phone and say, "Hey, there's a Coke." I don't know. You just do that, but make it touch sensitive, so you can put it on your headphones, right? On the side of your headphones, and you can have a volume meter on the side of your headphones. That's crazy.
Oh man. So, all right, that's awesome. But it looks like we ran out of stories, bud.
Yeah, that's it.
So
That actually is it.
I guess the only thing left to do is sign off. It was great being here and talking and doing stuff and interacting and just having fun. But we ran out of stories, so I guess we'll have to see everybody next week.
Yeah,
Hopefully with less issues.
we're having fewer issues, okay? I think we did pretty well with no issues for most of this stream. And if you're on YouTube, you won't even see what went wrong.